Hello, my name is Dr. Wayde Goodall, and this is Inspiring Life. Thank you for letting us come into your home or wherever you're viewing us from. And we have some miracles to talk to you about today. Not long ago, I was speaking in a church in New Mexico, and this man stood up and started running around the room, the sanctuary, and I couldn't figure out what he was doing. I thought maybe that's what they do in this church. I didn't let it distract me too much. But I asked the pastor after the service, I said, what was going on with that dude? Why was he running around church? And he said, Wade, I don't know, but he hasn't been able to walk for 20 years. And I thought, whoa, what is happening? This man touched by God. I don't know how it happened. And so many things about miracles I don't understand. But I know that God is a miracle-working God. Don and Terri Triplett are ministering in El Salvador. And last year they saw over 9 million kids hear the gospel of Jesus in that country. And it's an amazing thing what they're doing. We were there not long ago, my wife and I, Roz, and we saw miracles. We saw all kinds of stuff happening. Stay tuned. We're going to talk to you about kids today and about miracles that can happen in your life and in young people's lives. I'll be right back.
Welcome to Inspiring Life with Dr. Wayde Goodall. He is the founder of Worldwide Family Incorporated, a team which develops educational tools for families, communities, churches, and leaders. Are you looking for practical applications to today's challenges? Then join us for this next half hour of relevant information we have designed for you.
Wow. Thank you for staying tuned. I'm excited about today because we have Don and Terri Triplett with us, and they came all the way here from El Salvador just to not just speak in the country, but they wanted to be on the program. Roz and I were with you not long ago in your country, and we saw some amazing things. We worked our head off day and night, but it was really fun work. I mean, we slept well at night. And you told us, I think when we were getting ready to leave, that, this is kind of the murder capital of the world. And we didn't know that, And we were with gang leaders, ex-gang leaders and all that, and a lot of that stuff's going on. But Don and Terri, Roz and I welcome you to
what a privilege.
America, and we welcome you to our program, Inspiring Life. Can I just shake your hand one more time? So good to see you, and you've been dear friends for a long time, and we finally got to see you in action. And when we were pastors, we used to send people to work with you all the time. And I remember when you had your earthquakes that hit El Salvador not many years ago, you called me and you said, we lost 100 churches around the country. And I said, well, let's rebuild one of them, and then we ended up doing 11.
I know.
We got kind of in a contagious mood. Well, we built one, let's build another. And
we
sent
a container down, too, for relief.
And it was a fun thing, but, there's so many wonderful things going on. Don and Terri, I don't want to take your time because we saw miracles when we were with you. We saw not just kids saved, but we saw all kinds of signs and wonders and miracles in your ministry. But one of the things that people don't really realize that in your country, last year, you were able to get the gospel of Jesus to about 9 million kids. Is that what you said?
Yeah, but it's in the King's Castle Association in the 23 countries we're working in.
Yeah.
And all together,
in that region, Central America, basically.
Yeah.
Now, King's Castle is what you call your work or your ministry.
Yes.
And it's all over the place. You're in 30 countries or something, 33 or something like that.
Yeah. 23 organized and about 9 more that have a presence.
Yeah. And they're being developed, and you're even thinking about the Middle East and all that. Go for it, and we will be with you. But and God will be with you when you do it. But basically, reaching kids, so 9 million, how do you do that in a year's time?
Well, it's a lot of people working. We use the idea of exponential and illustrate it with if 100 teams of child evangelist, people going out to do ministry on the street, reach 1,000 people. Well, that's 100,000 people.
Right.
And then you get enough teams working. And, you know, it's all started back in 1987. The Lord gave me a vision, which kind of helped us kick off the whole idea of King's Castle for spectacle evangelism, doing whatever we had to do to draw a crowd in, whether it's drama or dance or in the beginning I thought we'd be running around with hundreds of horses, you know.
Or carnival, you thought
yeah.
we're going to get rides for the carnival. We figured that we didn't really need that, though.
We're coming back to that now.
Maybe, yeah.
With needing inflatables and stuff, because the kids just love, they
Sure.
see an inflatable and they come running.
But I think you should tell about the vision, what you saw, actually.
Well, I saw the equivalent of Ephesians 6, where I saw an army of young people dressed in the full armor of God. And some were marching, some were riding horses in. That's where I got the idea of horses. But just creating a spectacle. And then the kids would come, and then I heard thousands of people asking, ¿Quién es el Salvador? Who is the Savior? And then when we would answer that, they would smile and answer back, Jesucristo mi Señor, Jesus Christ my Lord. And I realized that we're bringing some joy into their life. You know, it wasn't like I grew up in Nicaragua, and we'd stand on a street corner and preach, and people would throw rocks or whatever at us, you know.
Right.
Sorry. But the people would joyously receive our message. And that's what we've found as we've gone out and ministered. The young people love what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's why we call it generational ministry, because thousands of youth reaching millions of children. The youth have their strength, so dance and, you know, just working real hard is fun for them. And the children look up to the youth as mentors.
Right.
And so that makes it really nice, because the youth are successful and the kids respond to that.
And your target age that you folks are working with is 4 to 14. How did you pick that, and tell me about that? Well,
we picked that. We did that just because that's the people that respond. But Lewis Bush, the man who coined the phrase 1040 window, he just has come around and last year coined the phrase the 414 window. Children between the ages of 4 and 14, 85%, he says, of evangelical Christians accept Christ in that bracket. So only 15% accept Christ after that. And so our strategic target is that age, 4 to 14.
Sure.
And everything we do, it's tested on the streets. And if it works on the streets with those ages, then that's good for us.
I'd like to mention, though, when we first started, we really didn't know what we were doing. It was just like starting out, you know, but we would train teams in El Salvador, but we would give them a piece of the map. They would be from a certain region of the country, and Don actually tore the map into how many pieces was it? Like 14?
34.
34 pieces, and they took that piece of the map and solemnly swore that they would reach every person on their piece of the map. And if they couldn't, then they would train another team to do that. And that's how we began to strategically target the country, of reaching it, every person in the country. Anyway.
When we started, we thought, you know, I told everybody, volunteers quit after 6 months. We still have some of those people that are older now still working.
Still involved in Castle.
You know, it's funny, but when you give somebody a job and become spiritually employed, they take that on and have ownership.
Sure, sure.
Want to finish it.
Working.
Yeah, I want to keep.
You know, this is a story that I just wish we could get the Christian eye on it in what you're doing in El Salvador. Now, no big deal, but Roz and I, we're in 9 countries this year. We're scheduled 9 or 10 next year. We're going from country to country. We've been in a lot of places. I've never seen a missions outreach like this that's reaching so many people, changing so many lives, having impact not just on individual people, but on even a nation that most Americans would not want to live in. That, you know, a little tense.
Wouldn't
but
feel safe.
I mean, it's happening, and your goal is to every child in El Salvador or in that region, Central America, is it to hear the gospel at least 7 times?
Next year. For a number of years.
For 1 year.
We've been trying to reach every child in El Salvador every year, which is about 2.2 million children in El Salvador.
We're trying to make Jesus famous. That's what we're trying to do. It's like a marketing campaign, making Jesus famous.
Yeah, how is evangelism like marketing?
Well, in marketing, you advertise a product, but the product has to be there for people to try. If they like it, they'll keep on buying. If they don't like it, they'll never buy it again. You know, it only works once. Well, in presenting the gospel to all the children of the country, we create an opportunity for them to accept Christ as their Savior, then to become involved in ministry, witness miracles. I mean, when they see other little kids laying hands on the sick, and we'll talk about that, but they just get excited seeing that the kids get, you know, the children that are involved in on the drama teams and on the dance teams and getting the games going, and then, but when they see these other kids who are what I call children of the Spirit ministering, they set a goal to become a child of the Spirit.
Sometimes they recruit non-Christians in the beginning. They get saved on the way.
Yeah, I like your idea of helping Jesus be famous, because, you know, they've probably all heard of Coca-Cola and some of this stuff, but we need to just market Jesus in the same way so everybody at least has the opportunity to hear.
You know, you can talk to us about miracles all day long, because we've talked about it before, but yeah, what are a couple of miracles that you've just, you know, stand out for you?
Well, there's...
Talk about the guy that was just in Guatemala. That one was a great one.
Oh, yeah. This about 8 months ago, one of our master students went with a big team that went to Guatemala to minister. And so he got up on top of a chair, and he's standing on the chair, and he held up a piece of crepe paper, and he's teaching the kids. He says, now this is the law of gravity. And he's trying to explain a miracle, you know. He says, when I hold this crepe paper, it will float down to the ground. And he dropped it, and somebody handed it to him, and he said, it's a natural law that you know, what goes up must come down.
Sure.
He said, but when God comes in and intervenes, he holds you in his hand in the air. And he felt a little tug on his leg, and he looked down, and there was a little blind boy trying to get his attention. He said, you think Jesus could hold me up in the air and heal my eyes? And Edward just looked down naturally. Of course, he's seen the miraculous, and he just believed and just said, yes. And that little boy's eyes were healed, and
immediately.
Healed immediately.
Running around.
He hadn't been
The little
seen
boy was blind.
for how long?
You think Jesus...
Yeah.
Held him in the air, yes, you know.
Defied gravity.
How old was the little boy?
10 or 11, something like that.
But he'd been blind for some time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, I was going to read this story, and I'm going to read it now. I was going to read it before we started, because it's a story of the 2 blind men that, you know, they said, Lord, have mercy on us, the son of David. And the Lord said, what do you want me to do for you? They said, let our eyes be open. Jesus said, in his pity, he opened their eyes. Pity means compassion. And immediately they recovered their sight. It's like the little boy hanging out. I mean, I wasn't going to, this is spontaneous, but man.